Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Jason Jenkins with Jenkins Risk Management doing an update today. I want to just hit on what we did, a recap on the prop trading as far as the group goes, what we did this morning, holding some NASDAQ in here into the Asia session. Maybe just a little bit of global macro, and then just want to hit on the best way to join our room, our trading group. We have a free chat room. It's just the easiest way to kind of, if you're new to what we do, if you have questions, if you want to join any of our memberships, any of our trading courses, you want to learn about cycles. I mean, that's kind of what we really, I guess, pride ourselves on, is the fact that we have this cyclical institutional model that really is based around an understanding of time, not just technicals. Fundamentals matter very little. It's all about timing. So you want to use the cycles to do that, but then you need to have a model and a process on how to work those edges. And yeah, so we'll just kind of get into it. It's been a good day for a lot of you. I saved a couple of the shots, so I know a lot of you have been working hard. Let me go to the prop team and some more comedies. So anything over 1,000, I think, is doing really well when you're new to futures. There's a lot of professional traders that have a hard time just breaking even on the day, let alone putting together $1, 2, 3, 4, $5,000 days. But I wanted to show a couple of those, and then I'll get into what we did. I could see this is Brett's day. This was nice. It's the first one I showed. So we went long S&Ps for the most part this morning. We were short the NASDAQ, made some money, and then flipped and ended up long. I made more money back this afternoon than giving back in the morning. But so this was good. This is high level trading where you're keeping the stuff that's not working smaller than obviously what is working. 3 out of 4 trades. Maybe the Russell, this might have been a couple 2 trades. I like to see that a little bit smaller if it was just one trade, maybe $300-$500 loss. But if you took a crack at something twice, I can consider that 2 plays. So let's say you're kind of per play, you want to shoot to lose maybe 300, 500 at most. So you have 2 plays, you kept it under 1,000. That's good. But I also know that he's pair trading this, so he's got longs on the other side of that. So that's a great job. And let's see, what else did I have? Micah had a big day. Let's highlight him. He's been working real. I mean, I just love the dedication and the effort you guys are putting in all weekend long. You're paper trading. You're working on keeping the losses small. We're doing our trading drills. You're working in your trading journals. So this is what's possible when you're trading futures, with a model, with a system, and you're working hard at it. So I guess I didn't trade the Euro future short, but that was a good trade today. That's been in a complete downtrend. We've been core short there. S&Ps, I think that was probably out of the long. So this is just, again, high level, high consistency. It's just rare for traders to be able to do this prop trading. It's not easy. I'll just flip through some of these. These are from some of this is from last week. So here's 4 for 4. Boom, $500, 700, 290. This is a big day. 28 is probably over $5,000 here. 2,800. Big day on the NASDAQ. I mean, this is look, one loss for $95, and then your winners are going for 10 times. That's good. That's how we want to keep it. Pretty good consistency here. Losers are nice and tight. That was Brad I highlighted. I mean, if you have three winners or 2 winners that are going for 1,500, and then you got one at 1,200, you're still double your risk reward. Anyway, guys, you can see kind of what we were working at. We're just grinding on this stuff every day, and getting really good results. So I'll talk more about the program. This is one of my this is one of my newer guys from last week. So already putting together, pulling $2,000 out of the market just in a few hours out of the gates. I mean, it took me years to trade some junior traders. Granted, I had to teach them about the bond market, but just to get them to directionally day trade, this trader started with me last month. So, anyways, proud of you guys. Let's just analyze what we did and do some post trade analysis. So this was kind of, there's a lot going on here. I highlighted last night. Actually lost a little bit of money on the Nasdaq last night, but we came in and this was the open, and you broke. I highlighted this trade Friday, where we shorted right around the cycle turn, and then this was a big drop, and we covered the absolute low. This was a great trade on Friday. I highlighted that. It's on the site. It's on the YouTube channel. So that was a good book. That came in to the Asia Open here Sunday night, and the market snapped that low and then even broke this low. All right, now I didn't dash line that because it didn't actually close below it, so you can call that a hold. But intraday, I mean, this is a bearish wall, so you have to go with the flow. So I came in and sold some, thinking that we might get some follow through, and then you just did a full 100% retrace, which is always the toughest to day trade, and made it a little bit tricky because we actually had to end up getting long S&Ps on this part of the cycle to make up for some of the losses. And then, but I made some back this morning on this initial dip. So let me zoom in. But just keep that in context. If we held this level 5 times, basically held it again today, 93.85, and then we put in this real money candle, and it was just boom. That just ignited this whole move. Nasdaq's the strongest of all the indices. If you look at the Dow, the Russell, everything else is still at lower highs. I just want to look at tens for a second there. All right, so what we ended up doing was the 15-minute cycle came in, rolled over. This offered a pretty good short right in there. And so I know some of you faded this, covered. And then this was another nice little cycle here. Nice swing line right into our pie line, this red dashed line. That's our pie line concept. Sold that cover into the lows, and then we started setting up long contrarian in case we got the reversal, and so we went long ES. That's why a lot of you had a big day in S&Ps. All right, so it went long, and then as we were going long, obviously we reshorted the Nasdaq, which ended up giving some back, but we stopped on that reshort of the Nasdaq once we got above what 40, 93.40, this high right here. And then so we've started to flip and go long on these pullbacks on the Nasdaq in the afternoon. So the setup kind of looks like, I'll try to show you guys what we do when we're doing pairs trading. We're trading 2 things contrarian. So while I'm covering the initial short, so again, we're shorting the bounces, covering new lows, shorting this, and then even though this is starting to break, we know that we got this big level right here that I highlighted. But anytime we go from here to a new low relative to this low, you got to be taking profits. Most amateurs or even a lot of professionals, like they're not selling here with the cycle. They're waiting for some things to break, right? They're shorting here at lower lows. They're shorting here at lower lows. And you can see I used to do the same thing. I called it pressing. I did it for many, many years at a certain stage in my career when I was trying to get bigger on our day trades intraday. And you'd have a good morning, and then you come in and you try to sell more on breaks to lower lows. And I'm telling you, this is what's going to happen. So it took me many, many losing days like that and frustration to say, all right, we got to make a rule here. And the rule is we take on lower lows. We take profits on lower lows. We don't add. I mean, sometimes you can add, but for general rule, I mean, we're not starting shorts at lower lows. We're taking profits. The goal is to be short from here, and then you cover the lower lows. So at the same time that we're covering, we're staying short some for the bigger drop. But when we're getting low within the cycle, especially on the 15-minute and 30-minute, I'm short here, but then I'm starting to set up long here, contrarian. So maybe that's one lot here, maybe another lot. So +1 here. And then what happened is that you'll see here on like the 1 minute, as the 1 minute starts to go positive, there's opportunities to add in here intraday. So here things start to change. We were adding because I was starting to give money back on my, so what happens is recovering, making money on this NASDAQ short. Then I start reshorting the bounce, thinking that this is going to continue like this. When you don't, and you get the 100% retrace, because this has largely been a range trade. So it's tough that when you hold the range and then you go ripping right back through like we had today, there's some signs along the way, like this is a real money candle, this candle here, big fat wide range bars. It takes real money to create that. That was on the open. But in the process that I'm reshorting, so I might have been maybe only short one lot into the lows because we booked some gains. Now I come back, I end up being maybe short 2 or 3 lots. Well, instead of just giving all that back from this morning, I'm starting to set up contrarian long here, +1, maybe somewhere in here. And then I add another lot here. Now I'm long 2 S&Ps, and that's helping me kind of balance out what's going on with this NASDAQ. And then once we started to get above this pivot, I kept adding. So then I added S&Ps again. And then I booked some into this high in S&Ps. We got back to the pie line. It was a reason to take some. I think that was the right spot. Let me see. Like initially I took some here, and then I added back, and then we were buying on this dip at 35. $25, I remember we bought here, we rebought. So we started to work the long side of S&Ps, and then that way what ends up happening is even though you're giving money back on the short NASDAQ, by the time we stop here, I might be short 2 or 3 NASDAQ because we did start to take some off right here, and then I got flat, like up in this zone around 40. So by this point, I'm only short 2, and then eventually flat. But over here, I was long S&Ps 1, 2, 3, take some off, back to 2, back to 3, add 4. So I'm heavier this way during this stop out. And then I'm working this on the long side the rest of the day. Plus we flipped and I got a little bit long the NASDAQ too. So now I'm making money this way. So that's kind of how we stop and reverse. That's how I teach within the cycle, we were playing short here for one part of the cycle, but then you can start to set up long and then add as you get on this part of the cycle. So it takes a lot of work, takes a lot of practice, but that's the goal. I'm going to keep this video brief because last couple of ones have been really long, like 30 minutes. So if you guys, again, you want to join us, come go to jenkinscm.com, and let me clean that up. jenkinscm.com. We have some memberships. I have a membership that is $50 a month. This for the amount of money a month. I mean, in finance, to have You basically get all our real-time alerts, analysis. You have a chat room. You have access to me, our whole team. You don't beat that price. I've run real-time alert services from 150 bucks, 100 bucks a month. 50 is the cheapest we've done. I just don't want to give anybody an excuse not to get involved, and especially if you want to trade longer term positions or just be on the right side of like the cycle and our recession call, or not that we had a recession call, but more of a growth slowing call. So being long treasuries, gold, dollar. We've been in this stuff for 18 months, even longer on the dollar. So that's all you get on the Cycle Edge membership. Our option edge, this is our new team. I really work with putting on specific positions. You get all our courses, but it's a lot of swing trade, long-term positioning. And then here's our prop trading group. More than likely, you're going to want to have some questions on that. That's fine. Best way to ask any questions is come in here to our chat room and throw your email in there. And then what you do is that'll give you the link to the Symphony platform. This is kind of similar to Bloomberg, but it's just collaboration as far as chat goes. But all the banks, or not all the banks, but actually I think all the banks are using it now or signed up, at least the primary dealers. But it's encrypted. It's much better platform for finance and trading. Institutions are using it. So that's part of the reason why we use it. And it's free to get that software. You can put on your mobile device, and then that's how we've been being able to deliver the real-time alerts, and that's the best way to chat. And then so we have this is a Cycle Edge room. That's part of the $50 a month membership. But we do have a free chat room. So put your info in here. It takes 2 seconds to get the platform, and then I'll actually reach out to you once I can see your email on the platform and invite you in that way. You can always search free chat room also here. Yeah, and then I will put a link for any of you guys who are interested in the prop program. I'm going to put out some information on that maybe this evening and then tomorrow. So anyways, hope you guys have a great evening and good stuff out there today. All right, we'll talk to you.